My name is Theo. I am a soldier in Napoleon's army. And right now, Moscow is burning in front of me. Wow, that's amazing. A few months earlier, this looked like the greatest military adventure in Europe. Flags everywhere, drums, horses, thousands of soldiers marching east. And Napoleon looked so confident, you would think Russia had already surrendered. I was not a general, I was not a hero. I was just one soldier in a sea of uniforms, marching east with the Grande Armée. And honestly, at the beginning, it felt impossible to lose. There were flags everywhere, drums in the air, horses on the road, and thousands of men all moving in the same direction. At the moment, we didn't feel like we were walking into danger. We felt like we were walking into history. People imagine war as flags, glory, and heroic speeches. But most days it was mud. A lot of mud. We woke up before sunrise, cleaned our weapons, checked our boots, carried whatever we were to carry, and then marched until our legs started writing complaint letters. Breakfast was usually simple. Bread so hard it could probably stop a bullet. Soup that tastes like warm confusion. Still, in those early days, we joked, we sang, we complained like professionals, because even with the mouth, the hunger, and the endless walking, we still believed Napoleon knew exactly what he was doing. That belief would not survive Russia. The plan was simple. Find the Russian army, fight them, win, and go home as legends. At least, that was the version we were taught, but the Russians had a different idea. They did not stand still and wait for us. They pulled back, then pulled back again, and every time we thought, now we finally catch them, they were already gone. So we kept marching past empty roads, past quiet villages, past fields where the food had somehow disappeared. Right before we arrived, very convenient for them, not for us, and the deeper we went into Russia, the stranger everything felt. There was no glorious victory, no grand surrender, just more roads, more dust, more silence, and one very uncomfortable question. But if Russia was not running away, what leading us in? At first, we thought the Russians were afraid of us, but then we started noticing something. Every village we reached was empty, every barn was open, every field was stripped, and every supply we hoped to find was gone. Sometimes burned, sometimes carried away, sometimes destroyed so completely that even the rats looked disappointed. That was the Russian plan. If they could not stop Napoleon in one big battle, they would make the country itself impossible. impossible to survive. No food, no shelter, no easy road back, and for an army this large, hunger was not a small problem. It was a monster. You could feel it in the camp. The jokes became quieter, the songs became shorter, and the men started looking at their bread like it was a priceless treasure. I remember holding one piece of hard bread and thinking, this may be the most valuable rock in Europe. That was the moment I realized something. Russia was not giving us victory. Russia was giving us distance, and distance was starting to eat us alive. At last, Moscow. We marched all this way for victory, for shelter, for the end of the campaign. But when we arrived, the city was burning. No celebration, no surrender, no reward, just fire. And for the first time, I truly understood. We had not reached the end of this campaign. We had just reached the beginning of the disaster.